Oxford Historic Preservation Commission to order. First item is approval of the agenda. We've all received the agenda. Is there a motion that we approve it? There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Approval of the minutes from the May 2026 meeting. We did not meet in June. We've received those minutes. Is there a motion that we approve them as presented?
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Next we have staff report. Kate?
Yes, so I emailed you guys all some dates for trainings from Archives and History earlier today. I will say Rachel took one for the team and went to Preservation Boot Camp. So we are not required, she did a great job, 2-day event. So we're not required to send anyone, but if you are interested in attending, they are free. And the dates and times, I know there's one in Starkville and one in Senatobia, so those are probably the two closest. So, and then Jack is going to say goodbye to Virginia for us because it's her last.
I have sad news for our commission. Our senior, perhaps senior, board member Virginia Lukenbach has informed the city that this will be her last meeting tonight. And speaking for this commission and for the years that I've spent on this commission, I want to thank Virginia for the great contribution she has made to every meeting. She has brought the professional knowledge as an architect that has been so helpful to us in many, if not all, cases that we have heard. So, Virginia, you have done such a good deed for the city of Oxford, for one of the most important things that I think the city is doing its best to manage, and that is protecting the architecture of historic residential areas here. So thank you very much.
You will be missed. And Virginia has been on the commission since 2016. So
wow.
she has served for quite a long time.
10 years.
We won't have to miss you because I'm sure you will be coming before us now. Yeah.
Would you like to say anything? And Kate, did you want to mention anything about?
Sure. The mayor and board appointed 2 new members. So we have an empty seat from Diane's resignation, and Virginia's term is ending. So they appointed Dale Reiser of Beard and Reiser Architects and Marvin Smith, who was a resident in the North Lamar district. So.
And those 2 will be at our next
Yes,
meeting.
we're going to get them trained up, and they'll be here next month.
That's great. Again, thank you, Virginia. And we expect you to really give us a lot of good advice today. Your swan song. There are 2 administrative approvals. Does anybody have any question about either of those? If not, we have one public traditional public hearing, and then we have a complimentary review. The first public hearing is case number 875, COA requested by John Lamberson for new construction at 1401 Buchanan Avenue. I feel like we all know Buchanan Avenue. That's 1401 Buchanan Avenue well. So, Kate,
Yes.
you want to?
Thank you. As Jack mentioned, we are looking at new construction for the lot at 1401 Buchanan. This is an entirely new plan, unrelated to, well, it's the same owner, but it's a new plan as compared to the one that the commission reviewed previously. And so the applicant is requesting a COA to construct a new single-family home. The subject property is a 0.18 acre lot on Buchanan Avenue, and the previous building on the site was demolished in November of 2022. The proposed residence includes approximately 3,000 square feet on the main floor, additional rooms within the second level, and a basement foundation with limited basement living area. You've got a side gable roof with a Dutch gambrel shape that ends in a flat parapet with dormer windows along the front with shuttered entries, windows, and garage doors. As we all know, this lot slopes significantly. It has very steep topography, and so the development of the site requires substantial grading, and that steep topography limits the available area to place the building, as well as influences the overall building form.
Can we stop on this?
Sure.
Illustration for a moment. This is the front of the house, and the dotted line that's above this roof represents the height, the roof height and parapet height of the former
Correct.
presentation that we have seen.
Yes.
So that was a concern for some,
Mhm.
and I think this is a good illustration showing that how much lower this one is than the former one.
That's right. In terms of building form, massing, and roof form, the proposed house is a 2-story building with below-grade basement level. There's an attached 2-car garage at grade. The massing, the design guidelines say that the overall building placement and massing on the should be similar to that of other buildings in the historic district. The use of a roof shape or parapet should be compatible with the general district. While the roof plan is more complex than the typical side and front gable roofs seen on the rest of the street, which features mostly vernacular and simple forms, the front dormers are an element which is seen in both existing historic resources and new construction homes in the district. There are a couple of existing historic homes that have full Dutch gambrel roofs in the district, and additionally, last year the commission approved a new construction home with a similar element, although it's a front-facing parapet, at the house that's directly adjacent to the Shaw House on East Jackson Avenue. The new home has an 8-foot lower roof line than the previously proposed design, as we could see in that exhibit we were just looking at. And the applicant also provided an exhibit showing the proposed new home in the context of its neighbors. The guidelines note that contemporary interpretation of historic details and ornamentation can be a good way to differentiate a new building from old. The materials used for walls, windows, sloping roofs, and other visible elements should be respected in the design of a new building. The proposed materials would include brick, simulated cedar shake roofing, and wood shutters, reflect materials that are generally compatible with traditional residential construction and are compatible with the street. Staff finds that the proposed residence meets the applicable historic district design guidelines and is recommending approval of the COA. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have. Will Hunt is here on behalf of the applicant, and John Lamberson, who is the applicant, is also online. If anyone has questions for them.
Hi, Mr. Lamberson, I'm just seeing you there. Welcome to the meeting.
Thank you for having me. I wish I could be there in person.
This probably would be the meeting that you would enjoy. Kate?
That's it.
Yeah.
Happy to respond to questions.
That's fine. If there are questions, if you'd come forward, we'll just go to questions from commissioners.
Oh, I forgot to mention that Will provided a 360 model that I emailed to you guys earlier today.
Yep.
I guess you've got louvers, garage doors.
Well, they're false louvers, but there's about 3 manufacturers that make that one, and then we've got a fabricator that'll build them for us. And what we'll attempt to do is to have the louver patterns in the shutters around the house be very similar to what's in the garage doors. We may not be able to get an exact match, but we'll get them close. And use the same paint color on the garage doors as we have on the shutters. We don't have any actual wood on the exterior of this house, I would point out. Everything's an engineered product that'll stand up to the weather really well, hold paint well. The engineered products let us use those dark colors without, fear of the sun warping them or causing the paint to come off.
Is the front door, these illustrations, I couldn't quite see the detail. I'm trying to see if it is distinguished among those three.
It's the right hand of the door, it's the center of the building, and that's actually a cased opening that you're seeing in that view right there that has the shutters on it. And then the doors there's about a 3-foot deep recess where you can kind of get in and get out of the weather. Amazon can leave packages, all that kind of stuff. And then it's not a true pair of doors. It's a single door fabricated to look like the pair.
Interesting. So it's recessed. It's
Recessed, yes, about 3 feet.
Yeah.
About 3 feet.
Other comments or questions?
The brick will be most likely an antique brick that I'll select myself. And if I can't, what I like is a soft red with a little bit of variegation in it, some orange, some black, some white. If I'm not able to find that, Cherokee will make us a brick that's very close to an old brick that looks really good. They come out of their Georgia plant, not the Mississippi plant, but they work very well.
The pool is basically in the same location as we've seen before.
It's actually the pool is a little bit smaller. It was reduced in size just a little bit to help us with some of the concrete work out there. The whole idea behind that pool is just some cool water to get in when it's hot. You know, it's not big enough to splash around or swim laps or anything. You can't really tell from the landscape plan that's there, but we're adding 2 large trees, one to the left of the house, one to the right, up on the street side. And then if you look at the terrace levels out in the back, we've got a combination of Nellie Stevens hollies that will come out of they'll get out there as 8 feet tall on top of the bucket or on top of the ball. And of course we'll have water to them, so they'll grow pretty rapidly. Then there's also some little gem magnolias, and I think there are some, we were going back and forth between Leland cypress and cryptomeria, but it'll all be material that will start maturing fairly quickly, and so if you're down there on Pierce and you're looking up the hill, you're only going to see the concrete wash on the retaining walls for a year or so, maybe 2 years, and then it'll start getting greened out pretty well. I would think at 5 years it'll look great. Johnny asked me to point out there's a pecan tree that's actually on the neighbor's property to the left of ours. He's had it looked at, and it's salvageable. It needs a good bit of work, and he's already arranged with that owner to do some tree work to it and root feed it and all that sort of thing. And he has offered both of the neighbors to landscape those areas between the house. There's a very deep gully, as you know, on the right side. He's made an offer to that owner, and I don't think he got any response from him. I believe the people on the left were interested in talking about it, but it hadn't progressed any further than that right now.
There's sort of a nice stand of trees on either side of the house, mature trees. You know. Any other discussion about this COA?
Thank you for your time and effort and ability to bring this back to us.
Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Very nice presentation.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's a very handsome house.
Thank you.
I think it'll look very good in this location. If there are no more comments, is there a motion?
So moved.
There's a motion to approve the COA. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The COA is approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Really appreciate you all working with us
Thank you, everybody.
and the help of the staff.
Yeah, well, we appreciate your patience and understanding in working with us to accommodate what we have accommodated. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you much.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Next, we have a complimentary review requested by Chandelier Development, Joel Lyons, for proposed additions and changes to 1206 South Lamar Boulevard.
Okay,
And
so
Kate, that's a nice presentation you've given us with the pages from the guidelines to, for simple review.
with the shorter section, it seems easier to just include them instead of writing a whole report saying them again. So, so as Jack mentioned, this is a complimentary review for House on South Lamar, which is listed as contributing in the historic district. And the applicants, I'll let them speak for themselves since this is complimentary, but we've met a couple times and they're looking for feedback on their proposed additions to the house. It's a little bit out of the ordinary for us to see a addition that's to the side of the building rather than to the rear, but the way that this house sits on the lot, it's very far back. There's no room to add on at the rear. So Joel, do you maybe want to come up and speak about it a little bit?
If you would introduce yourself, please,
Sure.
sir, for the record.
Joel Lyons with Chandelier Development. If you look at the cover page, the bottom portion, the shaded areas to the left of the drawing on the left side is the addition. It's mainly a master, enlarging the master bedroom, adding the master bath. And, so that's what that is on the left part. In the attic, there's quite a bit of room, and so what we're proposing, that's not new space, but we have it shaded there on the right side of the drawing because we're requesting approval to add dormers on the back side of that roof to have living space above. And if you look on A1, the next, there you go, in the back, none of this is really visible from the street. There's a number of mature trees running along in between the property lines. So that would be one item that we would request approval on. If you turn to page A7.1, okay. So on the north elevation here, this is just off the side street. Along that wall, all the windows are, the ones on the right are 5 foot, and the two on the far left are 6 foot. What we're requesting is to be able to change those two windows to 5 foot so that they work better on the interior side with the kitchen. And then as far as the brick, it's a non-painted house. And so being able to match that brick at this point is virtually impossible. But on this, where we're doing the addition on the far left, that is brick that we plan to pull off the wall and reuse to fill it in. That would basically be 12 inches under that new window. And then lastly, and I just basically got a box and a flat roof because I want to get some feedback on the carport, just the look and location of it. Given the location or proximity to South Lamar, this does not, you can't get a second curb cut. So getting in and out of that driveway can be a challenge. So that's why we placed it kind of up toward the kitchen so you can pull in and back and then pull back to the street.
Can I ask a question actually, Joel?
Sure.
So are you, for the new addition, so there's that portion that you're going to fill in with the reclaimed brick possibly, and then are you looking for feedback on the material for the rest of the
Yes, I
addition?
was going to bring that up. We
Okay,
got two or
yeah.
three options. She's referring to the far left, the new addition. She and I and Jimmy have talked about what materials to go back there. We're considering it would probably be a reclaimed brick. If we used a brick, we would probably match it to the courtyard brick wall we plan to do in the back, along the back property line. So that would be one option. You could do some sort of siding, or even stucco. So there's 2 or 3 different options that I think would work well here, but I wanted to just get some feedback from the group on that.
I just happened to notice that the example in the guidelines had stucco, so that got me.
Well, there is a part of the house too.
Yeah.
If you go back, well, if you just look at the front rendering, over the front porch, that little area is like a light tan stucco. And then on the north wall, on the second level, on each end is stucco. So it may make sense to do it stucco, so we're not, having 3 different materials on the house.
So there's stucco on the north and south sides of the house?
Yes, sir. Ben, if you go back to 7.1,
That aren't really visible.
right, you see the small
Yeah.
window, which are really just louvers with the one window and a center.
And your other plan is to put similar brick there? On the
Well, not there, but like
No, I mean,
addition.
on the addition,
on the
yes,
new
sir.
addition on the face of the
It's virtually impossible to match that brick. So we're not going to have enough brick
Yeah.
to do all that. We would have enough to do under the windows. So I was proposing a reclaimed brick. That or, well, mostly I was reclaimed brick is what we were hoping to do on the back courtyard wall. And then I think if we were to use brick on the addition, it would make sense to match those 2 items.
He's looking for feedback on what the commission would find most appropriate.
So you're not gonna come past break?
No, we've already crossed that bridge. And another thing too, I will point out, when I
We
first
talked about
met
it.
with Kate, the kitchen was giving a little bit of a problem with the size of the windows, and that's why we're proposing to change those 2. It also affects the other side of the kitchen, but it's on the front elevation, and we're not proposing or requesting that to be changed. We're just going to continue the cabinetry and do a drop-down bench, span in the window, and then be back to regular cabinets. But it was just a challenge on that window, the 2 window wall, just with the countertop height.
So on the front of the house, you're not changing any of the windows, the doors, the porch,
Nothing.
the roof line, nothing except for what's being, except.
Correct.
In one of the renderings, I was looking at the front door, and it appeared that the fan light had been taken out. Is that,
On the front porch?
yeah, is your intention to leave the fan light?
Honestly, I've not thought about that.
Okay, well, there's a drawing that shows it solid, and I didn't know whether that was intentional or not.
We'll take a look at that.
Yeah, no, I
Not
think
really.
we'd like to see it preserved and
Okay.
used as is.
It's my understanding that they're not planning to really touch the front of the original portion.
So that's the same ridge line?
I mean, I suspect.
No intention of raising a roof.
No, sir. I mean, what you see here is the existing house.
Yeah,
Just
Same
the
roof
rear
line.
dormers.
yeah. Are there any comments from commissioners about the carport? When I first looked at it, my reaction was it just seemed so simple. But I've talked to Kate, and she has explained to me, her perspective of it, which is positive, and I surely would defer to that.
Yeah, to me, just
The roof line.
Yeah, I just couldn't imagine why we wouldn't have another roof line that would be
Match
kind of
that.
symmetrical to the addition we're adding on, and you might explain that.
yeah, I think it's open to interpretation. In my mind, when you're adding something new like that, it's better to just keep it streamlined and simple and not compete with the resource. But I mean, I think if the commission found that they wanted it to be more like the rest of the building, that
So you're saying that it would sort of go away?
Yeah, that would be my goal, is that it
Visually,
doesn't draw any
it-
attention.
It wouldn't compete
Yeah.
with the house.
Yeah.
There's also a whole lot of tree and shrub area in there too.
So much.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, you probably won't see a lot of that left addition. We're gonna do a substantial amount of landscape as well, so.
That'll help a lot, because I did the same thing. I couldn't even really imagine where the property line was, because it's such a thicket.
And back to the carport, I mean, I can come up with a couple different options. One, obviously, like you mentioned, is to replicate what's there, or something very, very similar, so it all matches. Come back with, with the same flat roof or any other option.
Personally, I'm satisfied with the fact that it will visually not compete with the house as you're presenting it, but I did want to open the discussion for anybody that wanted to comment about it. That's a good looking house. It's so unusual, the architecture. It's so asymmetrical, and it will be even more now.
On the addition, on the roof, it's have a gate every other.
There's no reason for that. But part of it too, and I've heard this from Kate before on my house, is not to make the addition match the original house. I mean,
I wonder if it's either or neither.
Okay.
That's the problem.
I wouldn't have a problem if you wanted to put that one.
Okay.
And I had the same question, and I just knew there would be an architectural opinion about it, but it does seem that it would be clipped. All right, last chance for opinions here before we see this back for official approval.
I think if you do want to propose brick for the addition, I would bring a sample.
Do we want to talk about the windows, or do we want to just leave that out for the next meeting?
Oh, no, I think if you have some comment about the windows, now would be a time.
The proposed changes to the side windows?
Would you would replace them with wooden windows similar to what they are, I'm assuming? You
Yeah,
just
we can
wanna
do that. I mean,
raise them up,
yeah, they're 6 foot now that stay the same header height. We just need a 5 foot window, and it's basically for the inside. The countertop would be running into the window as it currently is.
so they'd be straight across.
Yes, ma'am. But the header, the top of the windows,
Right,
would not change.
right.
The two that are bigger, the 6 foot, would just match size-wise, height-wise, the other windows on that elevation.
Maybe a window spec sheet on what changes are planned with the proposal would help. And I understand we're just complimentary now, but just
Sure.
clarity on what they would be replaced with and what's planned to go, what's
And
planned
this
to
is the
stay.
carport side.
Yeah, correct,
So you might look at the ceiling.
correct.
Yeah, that's correct. Because we did also at the carport want to put small storage. It's a carport, it's not a garage, but at least have some sort of storage.
This on the left, help me understand what I'm looking at. Above the windows, is that horizontal line, is that the roof of the carport?
No,
What with the opens, something that looks like it's, open. On the
Are you-
bottom third of that roof, what am I looking at now?
oh, you're just where you got it clipped. It's just at a different angle. You know about the roof line?
But you're not proposing to change that top.
No.
What happened to the windows?
I need to add those back in. That was not the intent. The only reason we're doing anything to that elevation would be the windows, nothing to the roof lines.
But the part that is white,
I think you see that, yeah,
I'll update that for the next submittal.
to show that it's
That-
staying.
Yeah,
The peak of the roof is,
Yeah.
the ridge is farther back.
He's saying that it's not changing this.
Okay.
It's just not drawn.
okay.
the drawing.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So that roof will have, the middle of it will stay flat as it comes.
Yes, we're not touching the elevation.
Well, we appreciate you bringing your plans in, and I hope this has been helpful to you to hear comments from the.
Yes, sir, it certainly has. So we'll come back, address some of these items and resubmit and go from there.
That's great. And the staff, you know, any questions that you have, the
Sure.
staff is
Yeah,
available to you.
Joel and Jimmy have been very active, and we've met on this project, so they've been very good about that, so.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you all.
Virginia, again, we will miss you. I hope you'll come back and visit.
I have a feeling I'll be back.
I've never seen anybody that retired from this board come back and visit. I don't know,
I think she'll be right here.
I don't know what that means, but when they leave, they leave. But you're welcome anytime. Is there any other business? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. We're adjourned.